Okay, this is continuing 7-1. This is the back of 7-1. And now we're going to add and subtract polynomials. So if you want to take a little review, now this is a trinomial plus a trinomial. There's 3 terms. And then we really won't have to worry about the degree too much. So really in Algebra 1, I don't worry about the degree too much. I just worry about the names. So you have a trinomial plus trinomial. Now, I'm going to show you 2 different methods on how to add these. So the adding's not going to be that big of a deal as long as you keep something in mind. Remember, in order to add, you have to have like terms. Okay? To add and subtract, you have to have like terms. Now remember, to be alike, same variable, same exponent. Okay, in order to add like terms, they have to say in the same variable, same exponent. Do not think 4x cubed can be added to 7x. 7x, this is linear, so it's like, I don't know, this is a terrible example. This is like linear. And then 4x cubed, that would be a cube, like a dice, which I do have dice. So those would be x cubed. There's 3 dimensions to them, but I don't have 4 of them. But that's adding these 2 together. Can you add these together? No. Okay. So, now horizontal format means you can just look at it and then do 4x squared plus, or x squared, x cubed plus x cubed. So these 2 can be added. You can do it this way, and that's going to be a 1. So that's going to be 5x to the 3rd power. Then if you want, it's kind of like your like terms. So then if you want a different color, if you want, so you have, keep the sign in front, These were in front, so sign in front. Anyway, that's a positive 1x squared. This is a negative 3x squared. So that's going to be a negative 2x squared. Okay, and then if you want to do a different color, let's do black. Hopefully you can see this. So black, I'm going to do, I don't know, the squiggly line. Oh, we don't have anything with that. So we have a 7x. Ooh, okay, I'm going to do a little triangle. Okay, you want to do this in descending order. So you want the plus 7x and then the minus 5. I don't have a different color, so we're just going to do this. Minus 5. Okay, so you want your leading exponent, the highest exponent, and then going down. So now 7x and negative 5 can't combine with anything, so that's how you can do it. You can also do a vertical format, which means this. When you write it out, 4x cubed, always look to see, okay, cubed is the largest one, so we have 4x cubed. Then the x squared plus x squared. Notice there's no x here in this one. So you can do 0x and then minus 5. And then line these up underneath. Line these up underneath where they go. And then you have no constant over here. So you could do it this way too. You could line them up, descending order. So if there's not one, the biggest mistake I think people make is they don't put this term here and they just put minus 5 and they don't know how to, you can't do this. You can't do negative 5 plus 7x. So then you can just add them together. So we're adding 4x cubed plus 1 cubed is 5x cubed. 1 plus a negative 3, that's a negative x squared. 0x plus 7x is plus 7x. Negative 5 plus 0, negative 5. So either way is fine with me. Okay, either way is fine with me. Just make sure your final answer is in standard form. Okay, standard form, final answer. Okay, final answer. Meaning so final answer is in standard form. Leading coefficient, not leading coefficient, I keep saying that, but the leading exponent should be the highest exponent and going down. Now, subtraction. Subtraction, same thing, but the biggest mistake, you guys, you got to be careful. When you subtract, you're subtracting everything inside. So what you need to do before you do any subtraction, you've got to change the sign of everything to that one that you're subtracting, this second one. So you got to distribute that negative through the second polynomial. So what's really happening here is you have 4z squared minus 3 And then you're distributing that negative to everything. That's the biggest mistake. Plus 2z squared. Now that was a plus, so it's a minus. 5z, negative 1 is going to be a positive 1. Then you can do this format. That's squared. So 4z squared plus 2z squared is 6z squared. Okay, now c squared. So I'm looking for the z's. Just z to the first, so that's just a negative 5z. I'm just doing different colors so you can see it. Then negative 3 plus 1, negative 3 plus 1, negative 3 plus 1 is a negative 2. Okay, so just be careful with subtraction. Now, vertical, distribute the negative sign through the second polynomial. So it's really no different. You're just lining it vertically. You're still doing this distributive property. So same thing. You're doing 4z squared. Now, I don't have an x, so I have like z plus 0x, and then minus 3. You cannot put minus 0x because that's saying a negative 1 or a negative. No, not really. You're not saying, I guess you could. I guess that doesn't matter. So then positive 2z squared, 2z squared, make sure your z has a line through it, plus 5, oh, z. I don't know why I wrote x. Sorry, guys, that should be a z. Plus 5z, then plus 1 here. Sometimes this gets confusing. I kind of like that one better. So but then you're going to add them because you changed the sign. So this is going to be plus. So 6z squared. Oh, that needs to be a minus. Minus, because this is what throws us off. I don't really like this method on this one. Minus 2. I like the linear method versus lining it up, especially with subtraction. It gets confusing, but it should match. All right, so now we're gonna practice. We're gonna practice adding and subtracting the difference. You can pause this and then come back, or you can just watch it as I do it too. I typically like you guys. I like this method versus lining it up. 1, I find it faster, and 2, I don't think I make as many errors. Subtraction, I make too many errors with it. So a lot of times I like to use, I'm going to switch pens. I don't like this pen. Okay. So I first look at it. We have a trinomial and a trinomial. So x squared is our highest exponent. So that's plus, so this is going to be 4x squared. Then I'm going to look for the x's. So I have negative 4x minus 3x. Watch your integers there. That's going to be a negative 7x. And then a positive 3 and a negative 5. That's going to be a negative 2. Okay? Again, in standard form, so descending order. All right, so now 12. So this looks like this is addition and this is all subtraction. So if you want to do all this addition first and then do subtraction, that's fine. Sometimes they mix it up on you guys, though, depending on the program. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and just do all addition first. So 3a squared plus 4a squared. So that's 7a squared. Now, so then we have a minus a. We do not have, this is a binomial. So we have a trinomial plus binomial. We don't have an a in this term. So we have a minus a. Then we have plus 3, negative 5, and that's a negative 2. Okay, so addition, I don't think addition is going to be too hard. As long as, and you guys notice the exponents stay exactly how they are. Don't add the, you're not multiplying. So the exponents, I forgot to tell you that. That term stays exactly like that. That is, don't change the exponents. Find the sum, 2x squared minus 6x minus 2, and 4x squared plus 4x. So we have a trinomial plus a binomial. So the squares, we're adding. So 2x squared plus x squared is a 3x squared. Then negative 6x plus 4x. That's a negative 2x. And then we just have a negative 2 because we don't have anything over here to add. Okay, so addition I don't think is going to be an issue. Notice none of my exponents changed. I didn't change any of them when I was adding or subtracting. Subtracting, you got to make sure you distribute that negative to all of them. Okay, so distribute that negative. And so here's what I do on subtracting. I go ahead and rewrite this one. I rewrite that trinomial. Then I write this one. I distribute that negative. So what's happening, it changes the sign of everything inside when you're multiplying by negative. Now you can combine them just like you're adding. Okay, so 8r squared minus 3r squared. So that's going to be a negative, no, not negative, sorry, 5r squared, positive. Okay, r's, so a negative 12r, negative 5r. You're going further negative, so negative 17r. And then a positive 4 and a positive 1 plus 5. If you like to line it up better and that's easier for you, go right ahead. Definitely do that if you want to do that. Okay, all right, binomial and a binomial, 2 terms of each, but you're subtracting. So 7p squared plus 3p minus 5p squared minus 4. Okay, only combine the like terms, the p squares, that's going to be 2p squared plus 3p minus 4. Okay, now notice, a binomial minus a binomial doesn't necessarily mean you get a binomial at the end. I just had to double check myself real quick, but no. So don't think you're going to end up with just 2 terms because it depends on the type of terms that you have in there. Now be careful here. Be very, very careful. It says subtract this from this. So be very careful. So you're subtracting this term from this. So this is actually your first one. So be very careful when it says that. 2ab plus 3b squared. You're subtracting this whole thing. So you're subtracting negative a squared minus 5ab plus 3b squared. Be very careful when you have that because this is what's happening. Now distribute the negative. So I'm going to rewrite this again. Okay, so minus a negative is going to be plus a squared plus 5ab minus 3b squared. Okay, now combining. You can only combine the same exponent, the same variable, the same exponents. So that a squared here can be combined with an a squared, which is right here. 3a squared plus a squared. Now, let's make sure that that a squared is the highest. It is. And it's ab, so take your a terms first. So that's going to be 4a squared. So that means look for your a to the first power, which is just a. So you're going to have a negative 2ab plus 5ab. So a negative 2 plus 5ab is plus 3ab. Then you have a positive 3b squared minus 3b squared. So those actually cancel out. So this is your final answer. 4a squared plus 3ab. Okay, adding and subtracting polynomials, not too tough, but simple mistakes can happen. So be very careful of your subtraction. Also, none of your exponents changed at all.